It is time for Ali and I to give you our Premier League predictions. I hate this because we're going to make most fans so unhappy. Yeah. I just want to tell you, this is not my idea. Our producer's name is Ollie. Address your complaints to him, not to us. Okay?
These opinions are not necessarily ours. By the way, you know what we should do before we get into predictions? We've got to wish somebody a happy birthday.
Go on.
Alan Shearer, happy birthday.
Wow.
I think Alan's, I don't want to divulge his age, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. I think he's 54 today.
Wow.
So happy birthday, Al. I've got no doubt he'll be spending it on a golf course somewhere. No doubt.
Lucky boy, lucky boy. Well, his old club Newcastle will feature in some of these predictions, I would suggest. Let's start with the title, and let's start with you, Ali.
Right, I'm going for Arsenal. I think I've predicted Manchester City the last 3 years, and the reason I'm doing it, I think there's been progression in Arsenal the last couple of years, and I still think there's progression in them. I think Arteta's doing a great job. I really do. I think they were a great watch last year. I enjoyed them. I am not one of these guys who thinks it was failure because they finished second. Far from it. I mean, I think that's a very crass thing to say. I think they had a good season. The Villa game at home probably cost them at the end, but if you go in your last 18 games, I'll tell you right now, if you offered Mikel Arteta with 18 games to go, you win 16, draw one and lose one, he'd bite your hand off for it. I think we're in for another fantastic season, and I think Arsenal might just put City. How about you, mate?
I've got Arsenal second, but I haven't got the winners that you'd expect.
You've gone for Liverpool?
I've gone for Liverpool. Yeah, they had a bit of a wobble from mid-April last season, which cost them. Yeah. People will make a great deal about they've made no signings. Well, they haven't made any signings so far. But equally, they haven't had any significant losses. And for me, I look at Quansah will be better. Bradley will be better. Elliott will be better. Gakpo will be better. Curtis Jones will be better.
The big centre forward, I like him.
Yeah.
Nunes, Darwin Nunes.
And I look at City, people are going to wonder why I haven't got City winning it. And I think, over the last couple of years, their side's been chipped away a little bit. Gundogan was such a fantastic player for them. Alvarez has gone. Kevin De Bruyne is a year older. Bernardo Silva is 31. So I'm just not sure. And what sways me away from them are those 115 charges hanging over them. And I just think it must have an impact on people's mentality. I could be, probably will be, hopelessly wrong.
Do you know that the one thing as well, and I know the season starts and that's therefore why we're doing the predictions, there's still a bit of activity as well. So, I mean,
that's it.
You've got to be brutal honest and say, we're making predictions here. It'd be probably far fairer doing it the 1st of September. But
we are reserving the right to change our minds, guys.
As we normally do.
Yeah.
So I'm going for Arsenal. I think what I really hope for and what I think we'll get is a similar season in terms of drama, excitement, passion, everything. I think we'll get the same again.
So what's your top four?
My top four is, I've gone for Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and see, I think it's amazing because I think the big question mark, probably, if you ask everybody where the top four, I think, generally speaking, the top three will be the same teams.
Yes.
I think the big decision will be for fourth with a lot of people. And I've gone for Manchester United.
Have you?
I have. Because I just don't know what to expect from Chelsea. As I said, I don't know what I'm going to get from Chelsea. I think United will certainly be busy between now and the end of the month, bringing a couple in. I think you've got to get Luke Shaw fit. I think it's a massive season for the likes of Rashford. Højlund will get fit and needs somebody to help him. As I said, I don't know what we're going to get from Chelsea. I think there'll be improvement in Newcastle. I'm really looking forward to seeing Newcastle again, but I'm not sure they'll break into the top four. Spurs, again, it'll be a great watch. You want a season ticket for Spurs, no matter where they're playing, because you'll get goals, you'll get mistakes, you'll get brilliant play. Villa, who were terrific last season, and I know they've added and I know they've strengthened because they had to, but I just think Champions League football might catch. I mean, same as yourself, there's every chance we'll be proven wrong, but I think it might just catch up on them. What about yourself?
Well, I've gone for Liverpool, Arsenal and City as the top three, and then as the fourth. I get what you mean about Manchester United. For me, they haven't got enough depth, and I know they'll be signing players, but how many players can they sign, and are they getting the quality of player required? I'm not so sure. I'd rule Chelsea right out. Spurs, If Solanke comes off, I think they've got a chance.
Yeah.
Villa as well, if they can cope with Champions League, I think they've recruited well. For me, you see, Newcastle had a lot of injuries last season. I know a lot of clubs did.
Oh, they did.
A lot of, yeah. But this season, if they stay, relatively injury-free, they do not have Champions League to cope with this time. They're trying to strengthen the back with Gahey. I'm going to go Newcastle in 4th place. This is the bit I really don't like, predicting the sides that are going to go down. So you've gone for, Ali?
And people just say it's pretty boring. I did it last year, and it was proven right. I went for the 3 promoted teams to get relegated, and people say that's an obvious thing to say, but generally speaking, it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen a lot. When the 3 go up, the 3 go down. But I just think the gap is getting bigger every year between the top flight and the Championship. And I just think it's getting harder and harder for newly promoted teams to stay in the league. And for that reason, I've just gone for, as I say, it's probably an easy thing to do, but I've just gone for the 3 promoted teams. I think Forest might struggle. I've got question marks, believe it or not, over Bournemouth and Fulham. And their fans will probably be questioning my sanity at this moment in time. But, as I say, I've gone for Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton. Yeah, and I've got to say to you, in balance, Leicester obviously promoted, and Enzo Benesco did the fantastic job there. Ipswich, arguably the story of the last 2 years. And Southampton, I got to remind you, played as good a football at Anfield in an FA Cup game last season as I've seen MD play. Yeah. But I just think it'll be too much. I
mean, briefly, I've gone for Leicester as well. They may get a points deduction. Jamie Vardy, 38 this year. They've lost Dewsbury, Hawley and Acho, 1 or 2 more. Ipswich, I'm really sorry. It's been a fantastic story. And they're giving a lot of the players who took them up an opportunity, which is great. And I'd love them to stay up, but I can't see it. Forest keep dicing with danger. I like Elliot Anderson. They'd already got Hudson-Odoi and Elanga, so they do pose a threat. Yeah. Haven't heard of many of the other signings. I fear for Forest this year. I think
their home form again will be absolutely vital.
Absolutely vital. Yeah. Look, we're going to come back with more in a moment or two, but just before we break, Andy in Birmingham's put me in my place. Jeff Stelling, an absolute disgrace once again. Not one mention of Mansfield in his Premier League predictions. The vendetta continues.
You're on it. Andy's all over you.
Yeah.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.